Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast. Hey, thank you so much for joining us here on our YouTube channel for episode number 1105. Well, today we are talking about passion for agriculture, a passion for dairy that has taken a young lady all over the world, as far away as Scotland, to go judge livestock. We'll be speaking with Hartley Silva. She is coming to us from Modesto High School in Modesto, California, Stanislaus County, my old stomping grounds, and she is currently taking classes at Modesto Junior College in agriculture. Same thing I did on my way to my bachelor's degree in animal science, and it's exciting to catch up, but oh my goodness, a million accomplishments from this young lady and a million to come, including a state proficiency award in dairy production, being a section officer there in the state of California, as well as a chapter officer, and phenomenal accomplishments in the dairy industry. Very excited to bring that to you. We're going to get that started for you right now. Hartley, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
I am very excited to speak with you. I've got to tell you, I don't know if you know this about me, but I went to Davis High School in Modesto. So not Modesto High, but I went to Davis High School. And 3 semesters at Modesto Junior College, which I see you are heading there this fall. So we've got a lot in common. I like catching up on what's going on in Stanislaus County.
Yeah. I'm currently, I have already started classes at MJC.
Oh, you have?
I did dual enrollment this last April, and I'm currently doing 3 summer classes right now.
Oh, good for you. Good job. So dual enrollment. So that means that you were taking classes at Modesto High School this spring that also gave you credits at MJC. Is that correct?
I actually took classes at MJC as well.
Aha. Okay.
So I did a public speaking class through MJC. It was all online due to COVID, but I really enjoyed it, and it helped build my public speaking skills. So
that's good. That's good. Well, that's wonderful. MJC, by the way, it's inside baseball lingo. Everybody in Modesto calls it MJC, but Modesto Junior College, what a fantastic ag program. That was where I got my start, and I can't think of a better foundation to begin in college learning about ag than the Modesto Junior College. They got a great farm. It was a really, really good program, 400 years ago when I was there, but now even better. And I've kept up with it and am familiar with it. So you're off to a great start. Now I've got a selfish question for you. That is, you can see my background behind me. So if I move my head, you see I've got a big flag from Montana State University. That's where I wound up getting my bachelor's degree in animal science. I can't find any swag for Modesto Junior College. I emailed one of my former professors is still there, John Mendez. I don't know if you are familiar with him.
I'm taking his animal science class right now.
Okay. So I emailed him like 2 months ago, and I'm like, hey, I need to put something in my background for Modesto Junior College. He didn't even respond. He's probably like, who is this kook who says he was my student in 1991? So you got to find me some swag. I need something to represent Modesto Junior College that I can put in my background.
I'm sure I can find some things.
Okay. You have an assignment now, Hartley. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Well, so tell me about you. Do you live on a farm? Do you live in town? Something in the middle of those two? Tell us a little bit about that.
So I live in the middle of the fields of the farm. So not directly on the dairy, but right off the side of it.
Okay. And where at? I'm asking for myself because I used to be a sheriff's deputy in Stanislaus County too, so I know the whole county. So where are you at?
So I am off of Paradise, Bancroft. There's a Shiloh Paradise ballpark right on that corner over there.
Oh, the good old Shiloh school. So this is so much inside baseball. My listeners are going to roll their eyes. I did not grow up in Modesto. I grew up in Valley Home. Do you know where that is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And we occasionally got to travel for sports, and one of the places we would go play would be that Shiloh Elementary School out there. Yeah.
Yep, I went there.
Oh, you went to Shiloh. Did you ever play Valley Home? Do they still do that?
Yes, they still do that.
Is that right? Oh, well, that's a lot of fun for me. For my listeners in Texas and Iowa and Illinois, they're wondering what in the world I'm talking about right now. Yeah, that's a lot of fun for me to hear. That's really cool. Okay, so you're out there on a dairy. Did I got that part right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how long have you been part of the FFA?
This will be my 4th year since I'm a senior now.
Okay, so you started as a freshman, and why did you join?
I did 4-H growing up, and I have always loved FFA. I love the corduroy jackets, and I loved that it was for the big kids.
Okay.
I love that FFA stood for something larger than yourself, just as 4-H did. I feel like FFA is on a larger and more nationwide scale, even though 4-H is more popular in other states. I just loved what FFA stood for, and I knew as soon as I zipped up that jacket, that's where I belonged.
Now, I love the fact that you love that corduroy jacket too, and so many people do. And I got introduced to the FFA through doing this show, so I have kind of fallen head over heels for the FFA as well. It's a phenomenal organization. It cracks me up though. My daughter's in her first year. She just finished her first year of FFA, and that corduroy jacket, I laugh when people talk about the fact that it's way too cold in the winter, but way too hot in the summer to wear that thing.
Makes the hotter hotter and the colder colder.
It really does. That's pretty funny. Okay, well, good. So you were a big admirer. You knew that's where you wanted to go, and you got in. And then let's see, man, you've had a really great run in terms of leadership. Do I have this right? Chapter vice president, and then also treasurer at the section level.
Yes. So I was the chapter historian my sophomore year. My junior year, I was the sentinel, and then senior year vice president. And my junior year, I was the sectional treasurer.
Okay, very good. And now, have you graduated already, or is that still coming up for you?
My graduation was yesterday.
Congratulations. Good job. That's a lot of fun. Down in Modesto, were you guys able to have a graduation this year? Were they able to kind of loosen up on that?
Yes. So we were allowed 2 people. So my parents both showed up, and everyone was spaced out. So we had parents on the track field at MJC. We had people in the bleachers, and then there was 32 rows with 18 kids in each for the graduates.
Hey, I'll tell you what, 2 people's not bad considering COVID. I graduated from Davis in 1991, and I remember I was able to have 4 people, and my parents were split up and remarried, so I was lucky that I got 4 tickets because I was up to 4 parents at that point. And then my aunt and my uncle, they both taught in the Modesto City Schools, so they scammed a pair of tickets and they came. So I had a total of 6 people, but I was totally cheating. I was only allowed 4. So for a COVID year, you got to have 2. That's not too bad, considering I only got to have 4 with no COVID. So very good. Good for you. Now, I want to ask you about becoming an officer. What inspired you to do that, and what inspired you to go beyond the chapter level?
I am a social butterfly, so I love meeting new people.
Okay.
And when the opportunity arrived to run for sectional office, I jumped at it. I immediately went to my advisor and was like, I want to do this. I need to do this. And they were 100% behind me. They're like, okay, if you want to do this, this is what you're going to have to do. And I'm so glad that I did. I had such an amazing experience, even though the last part of it was shut down due to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a wonderful experience, and the leadership helped me so much. Being the sectional officer is a lot larger and more involvement than just a chapter officer. You do more things as a chapter officer, but you are in charge of helping run the entire section. So our section has 12 schools. So it's a lot larger than most of the sections around us, and I really enjoyed the leadership, getting to meet new people from all over our section, whether they were from Don Pedro or Oakdale or Modesto City Schools. Heck, they could just be in Enox or Davis, and I'd never met them, and I loved getting to meet new people. So it was a wonderful experience.
That is great. So 12 schools in your section. So you named a couple I know. Obviously, I know Oakdale. That's where I was supposed to go to high school till I moved into Modesto. And then all the way up to Don Pedro up in the foothills.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very good. Good for you. And did you travel to all those schools?
I traveled to Sonora, and then the rest of my team traveled to the other schools. And I was supposed to go to Somerville as well, but we scheduled something out, and unfortunately COVID said no.
Okay. Well, good for you. That's really exciting. Well, let's do this. I'd love to acknowledge our FFA advisors. Let us know how many you have there at Modesto High and who they are.
So at Modesto High, we have two. We have Scott Lane and Julie Shelhace, both graduated from Cal Poly. And Julie Shelhace, she came about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And Scott's been here for at least 20 years.
Well, great. Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for acknowledging. Let's talk about your supervised agricultural experience. So what have you been doing for that?
So I have a 63 head herd of registered Holsteins and Jerseys. I implemented Jerseys into my herd about 4 years ago or so. I really love that the Jerseys bring so much more than just the Holsteins. They're a lot smaller, so you can fit more into your milk barn. You don't have to have them large. They are more feed efficient, therefore they can eat less feed but produce more milk. And they are more adaptable to the weather. Being in Modesto, California, we get triple-digit summers, and it does not affect them like it does for the Holsteins. So implementing them into my herd has been huge. I'm currently IVF flushed. One of my cows twice. I have gotten a total of 14 eggs from her. I sold 6 of the embryos, and I calved out 6 heifers and 1 bull. I have shown all over the state of California. I have attended World Dairy Expo in Madison, Wisconsin, and the Jersey Jug Fraternity in Louisville, Kentucky. Being in the dairy industry has been a huge part of my life. I started out with kiddie showmanship when I was 4 years old. I've judged dairy cattle since I was in 6th grade. I ended up going to Scotland for the World Judging Contest at the Royal Highland Show in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Wow.
I ended up getting 6th. My sister and I on a team, we got 3rd altogether. And the dairy industry has just been basically my entire life.
That is some incredible success. 6th individually and 3rd on your own on a world competition. Or a 3rd with your sister, excuse me.
Yes. In Scotland, if you do not have a team of 6, you are divided into pairs. So being that there was only 4 of us, we had 2 teams technically.
That is incredible, man. Good job. That is exciting. Do you like it over there?
Yes, I love the weather. It was constantly changing, but I love the rain. So there was lots of it.
Yeah, the complete polar opposite of the Central Valley of California. That is really exciting. Okay, so let's go back. I want to go back to this choice of jerseys. So a little bit of history. How long has your family been in the dairy business?
Oh, I'm a 4th generation dairy farmer. So a very long time. We ended up coming from Switzerland, and the 4 brothers built a dairy. Each built a dairy in Modesto, California, and our dairy is the only one out of the brothers that's still working and has cattle going through the milk barn.
From Switzerland. Now that's fascinating. Growing up in Stanislaus County, I knew a million people off of dairies, but everybody always either came from the Netherlands or from Portugal. But Switzerland, that is really fascinating.
I have the Smith of Portugal for the last name, but my mom's maiden name is Britschke, and my dad's mom's name was Ott, and there's a Bergie in there, so we're very Swiss.
Wow, that's really interesting. Now, has it been Holsteins the entire time until you started buying jerseys?
There was a few brown Swiss, but it was mostly Holsteins.
Okay, I was going to make a joke about brown Swiss, but there actually was brown Swiss.
Yes, we're not huge fans of them, just because we've had our fair share of ornery and stubborn ones. But I love the jerseys, and I told my dad that I want one, and he knew nothing about the jersey industry. So he had to do research, and so did I. And we're like, is this a good thing? We talked to a whole bunch of people not only at the commercial level, but also at the show level, since I do show. And we just figured we can give it a try. If it doesn't work out, oh well, it's 1 cow.
Sure. Now, how did you come up with the original idea? I mean, you talked about you and your dad both having to do research. So what inspired you to even start looking into jerseys?
I thought they were the best looking dairy cows that I have ever seen, looking at cattle magazines and newspapers that had dairy cow specifically jerseys that won Wisconsin or were first All-American. And I thought that they were the perfect animal. Little did I know that they have a very ornery personality.
Well, you have had some phenomenal success already. Just that flush you were talking about, only one bull calf. That's pretty incredible.
Which is actually really good for that family because I've gotten 6 bulls and 2 heifers out of IVF flush, and I used sex semen at least 3 times, and all of them came out bulls.
Oh, okay. So it's gone the other way for you as well.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. And then who are your customers? Who's buying the embryos from you?
So it's a family friend. Ever since I got my first homebred jersey, he said, I want to be a part of that family. And he wanted to go partners, but I was not ready to have partners on some of my cattle. So I asked him if he would like some of the embryos, and he said yes.
Okay. That's great. Well, you and I have one small thing in common. I've shown dairy cattle. When I took dairy production at Modesto Junior College, our instructor back then, it was Hal Carlton.
My dad had him as well.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He forced us all to halter break a heifer and do a show. So I've shown one cow in my whole life, and it was a dairy cow there at MJC. That's fun. All right. What's your role on your family's dairy today?
So today I'm in charge of helping with the show string, as well as helping basically do all the small jobs at the dairy because I have other jobs as well. But before we shipped out the calves, I was helping feeding them, and then I was making sure that they were all healthy. They got tattooed, tagged, make sure that there was no sick cows or calves, and if there was, I make sure that they were getting the right treatment and helping along their healing and recovery. I also, and during the dry months, I help rake the outside corrals, and I assist with bringing the cows into the milk barn for the milkings as well.
Awesome.
And then I help with the herd work and vet checks, as well as making sure, going along with the breeder, making sure that if he needs any help, I'm there. And if he doesn't need any help, then I'm just there just in case something bad happens.
All right. Now, you won a state proficiency award in dairy production?
Yes, I did.
Is that just this spring?
Yes.
Congratulations. That's phenomenal. In a state the size of California, that's really incredible. So
yes, it was major, huge thing in my family.
Well, good for you. You deserve that recognition. So tell me about that. What made you stand out? How did you become that state proficiency winner?
Having such a large herd helped me, but also my involvement in not only the breed of jerseys, but also the dairy industry. I'm currently the California Jersey Queen. So getting to go out into the public and spread awareness about the Jersey breed and the dairy industry helped me figure out what my application should look like and what they would want to hear, and as well as how to better my herd. Because meeting new people, I get to figure out maybe they've had the same issue I'm currently having. How did they fix it? Or if they're having an issue I already had, how can I help them, or some advice that I could give to them?
Okay.
And so I love the proficiency aspect because I was so involved with my herd that it was basically writing what I do every day.
Sure.
And what I have done with my project from the 4 years that I've been in FFA. It was super fun. I loved it. My ag teachers were extremely helpful, as well as some other family friends. And it was just an easy yet very difficult thing to do.
That is great. Now, how do you become Jersey Queen for the state of California?
You get involved as much as you can into the Jersey breed. So showing it has helped me a lot. And then the people that introduced me into the Jersey breed as well, the Sanders family who own Fire Lake Jerseys in Turlock, they helped me a lot, as well as they've been my mentors. And getting to know them, has helped a lot. They told me, hey, this is something that I think you should do. I applied for it, had an interview, and I became California Jersey Queen. And then since COVID happened, they asked if I wanted to do it again, and I said yes, since I'm not going anywhere for college besides JC.
Okay. That's phenomenal. Well, congratulations again on that proficiency award. That is great. Now, will you be pursuing a national proficiency now?
Yes, I will.
That is great. And then are you going to be pursuing your American degree?
Yes, that as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. Good for you. Okay, so you are going to be majoring in ag education at Modesto Junior College. Do you know where you want to go when you're done at MJC, or will MJC be the last stop for you?
So after MJC, I will go to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and I will end up. So I did have a major switch. I will major dairy science and animal science at MJC, and then transfer to Cal Poly and major in ag communication with a minor in dairy science.
Okay.
I love the communication aspect of the agriculture industry, and getting to teach that would be amazing. I would love to teach in ag journalism class. So the students would basically create a web page for the chapter and keep it up to date with things and send out newsletters, create them, and they'd be in charge of publicizing the chapter. And then an ag leadership class for the officer team, and as well as the committee members and other students that say they have a busy schedule and they don't necessarily, or they can't necessarily fit an FFA class into their schedule. So it'd be an 8th period or a 0 period for the students. And they would basically, the officer team would plan the meetings, committees would figure out what they want to do for their committee and how they would help the chapter. And then it'd also be for students that are job shadowing or have jobs and they're getting work experience. And so it's basically preparing them for the working industries and getting out there into the workforce.
Man, you've got a plan.
Yes, I do.
That is exciting. You've got it laid out in front of you. I'm telling you right now, that is 3/4 of the difficulty. Now you just got to make it happen. But knowing where you want to go and how you want to do it is phenomenal. You are a thinker and a planner. You get out there, you try new things with the jerseys, and you've got this all mapped out. What is it about you that makes you think that way?
So I recently was involved in a program called Find Your Why, and it basically dissects you. You take a Myers-Briggs test, and it describes your personality type, and it basically tells you why you think this way, why you have to do things this way, why you want to do the things. So doing the program, I learned that I am a hands-on learner. I have a big picture, and I use my communication skills to articulate my vision to others. And by asking questions, I'm always making sure that everyone is incorporated into the plan and that it works for everyone and not only myself or the other people that are working on the project. So with that program, I learned how to incorporate my thinking and talking skills and the way I do those things into my daily life, and how to help other people understand me more. And doing a project for the chapter with my coach from Find Your Why, I created basically a little plan called Grow Your Building Character, and it's basically helping you gain traits to go into the workforce. And with it, I really enjoyed it, and I went to my ag teacher. I was like, this is really something I'd love to do. She goes, that's what I do. And so after that, I fell in love with it, and I knew that I had to become an ag teacher.
Well, so when that all comes to fruition, will you still stay active with the dairy and still stay active with your Jersey herd?
Yes, I would love to keep building my herd and trying new things, especially with going to MJC and then Cal Poly and staying in the dairy sciences. I'll learn more things about the dairy industry and new technology that's being implemented, and hopefully I can bring that back to my own herd.
Awesome. And how lucky are you to have one of the premier ag schools in all of the country be located in San Luis Obispo, just moments away from like Avila Beach and Pismo Beach? That's awesome.
Yes, it's wonderful. I went to Cal Poly for the Holstein Convention, the California Holstein Convention, and I loved the campus. It's so pretty, and it was an amazing experience just to walk on the ground that Cal Poly has the wonderful students, and it's such a great program.
All right, another inside baseball question for you. Do you ever have a teacher, or have you ever had a teacher at Modesto High named Rod Oldfield?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, well, that's enough of that inside baseball then. I just was going to get an inside scoop on what it's like to be in his classroom, but I'll have to do that another time. Hartley, this has been a lot of fun. I love catching up on Stanislaus County and Modesto and California agriculture and all of that. You got to get me some NJC swag. I am counting on you. Counting on
I
you.
will get it to you.
And if it's Department of Ag, that's even better. That's even better.
I will talk to Mendez and Nicole, who's the new dairy instructor.
Okay.
Nicole Morris. And I will find you some MJC swag.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing this with us today.
Yeah, I was glad to be here.
Well, thank you for being here, everybody. And thank you to Hartley Silva for joining us here on the Off-Farm Income Podcast. And hey, we would love to have you click that subscribe button down below and become a subscriber here to our YouTube channel. And we'd love to have you follow us on social media as well. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, everybody. And until next time, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.